hopefully I might be able to get some commentary going for future rounds. We'll see. Okay, going to sideboards here. Skarg Rage Pit's in the board. Seems like a pretty low impact card to have in the board. I'm not a fan of having low impact cards in the board in Highlander. I mean, you've got every card of Magic to play. You gotta have silver bullets, man. Like, really strong cards. Okay, what have I got? I got a Masterwork of Ingenuity. It's a new card from the latest Commander. I think it's pretty nifty in the equipment mirrors. You know, you can play a Clamp if they have one, play a Battleskull for 1 mana if they have one. I don't know, like, it might be bad. Maybe it's just better to keep in, like, your poorly matched colour sword, if you know what I mean. Like, if they're not playing red or blue, then Sword, Fire and Ice is pretty ordinary. So, Masterwork could come in instead. I'm thinking about it right now. Whatever. I've also got a Zealous Persecution. Hopefully get some blowouts. Zoo actually hasn't got many X1s, but from memory I just haven't got much to bring in, which is very poor sideboarding by myself, not having those good options. I've got a Nature's Claim, which looks like I'm going to bring in as well. I mean, equipment's very important, but Zoo really only plays like 3 equipment max, and maybe like 1 or 2 tutors, and that's like it in the whole deck, and maybe Porcelain Legionnaire. So there's not many targets, so it's a huge risk of having it dead in my hand. Yeah, you know, I'd take out Spirit of the Labyrinth. It's like decent against Clamp if they draw it, but other than that, it's a pretty bad body. It's going to trade with a Curd Ape, so you're spending 2 mana for their 1 mana. It's not where you want to be. I don't know. Let's talk some personal stuff. It's a Thursday night. I skipped soccer training to do this commentary, so I don't know. I'm making the sacrifices for you guys and myself. I just love Magic and I want to do more commentary. But you know, you can only have so much time for things in life. I don't even know how like people with kids do it. That's ridiculous. Like I can't find the time to test Magic as much as I want, and work and play sport, and do all this like coverage stuff, which I'm really enjoying. Time. Okay. Hurry up and finish, Keech. I think he's boards out the grafted war gear. Like, he knows from, I don't know, previous tournaments that I play a reclamation stage in my 75 as well. And I've just got so much artifact hate that grafted war gear is gonna get him blown out every time. So I think he's going down to just Clamp as his only equipment. And if he's playing Stewardship's Gift and Stoneforge Mystic, there's like a higher risk of drawing blanks. A blank being, you know, an equipment shooter after he's already found Clamp. And that's something I brought up in my equipment article, which I wrote on sneakershow.com. Alright, 7 cards each, Keech on the play. It's a pretty quick keep. Shocking himself at 2, Figure of Destiny. Alright. My go. I can see an Fenza, an Arid Mesa. Draw. Hits the tank. Not enough people will give enough respect to your first land drop. You obviously have to consider what double colour creatures you have in your deck that you could lock yourself out of. Strangroot Geist being a common one. You don't want to play like a Scrubland turn 1 if you don't have to. You also have to consider if you draw a main land, you want to get that in play as soon as possible, and so it doesn't have summoning sickness. So if you play a land that can't cast the creature in your hand, if you draw Mutavault next turn, then you know you lock yourself out a bit. That's a beta Llanowar Elves in the front of my hand. I choose to play the bird instead because I've got an Anafenza in my hand, so Llanowar Elves Forest can't cast Anafenza, and I'm playing around Wasteland by playing the Forest first. I even fetched for it, so. And I can't be sure, but I wouldn't fault Keech for having Price of Progress in his main / sideboard in the second game. So basics are good. Yeah, that's just an example of, your first land being important. So Keech is tanking here. He's wondering what he wants to play. Turn 2. I think his first play should be bash in. Oh no, I can't really tell his hand. So, jeez, he went really still there for a second. Like statuesque. I've got Treetop Village in my hand. That's gonna stay in my hand for a while, I think. Strip Mine. So, getting the basic didn't save my land from destruction. Alright, so that's what he was thinking about. He must have another land in hand. He's wondering whether to try and bone me on mana or add to the board himself. Like, Strip Mine puts you behind because you spend a mana. You effectively spend a mana by tapping the Strip Mine as part of its cost. So, a lot of people don't realise that. Like in the mirror, for example, the Zoo Mirror, Wasteland and Strip Mine are terrible because you spend a mana and they don't. So you put yourself a mana behind. And you only actually get ahead if it screws them on colour, or if, say, they were holding up a counter spell for 2 mana and then you strip one of their lands and they can't use the mana because they've only got 1 land in the second main phase. Anyway, lots of dudes. So Keech's mana deprive strategy did not work out for him, despite me only having 1 land. Hang on, did I just not play the Treetop? Oh no, I played the Savannah from my hand. Never mind. Well, I played the Aramesa, I should say. Right. Get in for 2. So I got a huge mana advantage here. Keech's got an Ancient Grudge in hand. Keep any equipment I play at bay. Well, in the graveyard. Yum. Plateau. Oh. Roofy. Oh. Draw a Putrefy. It's nice to have if that if that Figure of Destiny gets any bigger. Got a Reclamation Sage. All the goodies. Looks like I'm passing the turn. Like, if Keech doesn't get a read on Restoration Angel here, he hasn't... I don't know what's going on. He's played enough Highlander to get that read. Everyone knows it. 4 mana. Like, I mean, I've got a Noble Hierarch, so I would have bashed with the bird for 1 damage. So, he must think either Restoration Angel or I've got... maybe like a black removal spell that I want to hold up. Swings in. Here's the Angel. I'll just arbitrarily blink one of my mana guys. Mana off. And yeah, he wouldn't have swung in if he didn't have the real spell. And I'm happy with Path. I mean, I've got a mana land, a man land to sink the extra mana into. I can draw equipment and then just spend all my mana, regardless of how much I have. So, that current build that I'm playing hasn't got a swamp in it, which I will change. I won't change it for rounds 3 and 4 because I missed the cutoff date for deck updates. But yeah, it should have a swamp in it. So if you see my list, add a swamp to it if you're going to copy it. Keech just runs a Side Pro Mage out there. I mean, he's just maintaining tempo, but there's something to be said for just holding it, so I don't expect the artifact kill. But looking at his hand, I like his play. It's fine. Even if my Treetop can block his Corsair Pro Mage. Alright, so I've got a Smiter that rumbles with all these guys. That Forest is keeping the Figure of Destiny as a 2-2. So we'll be able to outclass mine. Locks it on Smiter with the Corsair Pro Mage Exalted. Okay, so I'm holding up Treetop in case he has removal. I've also got Putrefy in hand, but representing Treetop is nice. Normally, manlands give away what spells you have in hand, but in this case, keeping it back is fine. Journey. Alright, so this could turn out bad for Keech. Alright, he could get the read that I have the Treetop block, and he's got a 4/4 Flintoff Boar. So I think he's going to bash him with the Boar, and I'm going to Putrefy it. And yeah, that's what's going to happen. I was recording sound for this match, but it was at Games Lab and there's too many people around, and the sound, like the mic, just goes crazy when it gets heaps of different signals going into it. And my good mic is too bulky to carry my bag, so maybe I'll get like a lightweight one, some lapel mics or something for the players in the future, depending on their cost. What's Keech doing? Tanking? Yeah, he's tanking. He's got that Grafted War Gear, so he didn't port it out. He's scared. He doesn't want to play it. Yeah, alright, so there's a play I predicted. Putrefy. My only black from the bird. If the bird dies, I'm off black. Which is kind of scary for me. I think I've drawn a Corsair Crucifix, which could die like a side Prime Mage. But I mean, you know, I'd rather Corsair die than some equipment that I might draw. See how it goes. Yeah, I'm just running me out there. Hopefully get the land on top. Yeah. Oh. Reclamation Sage in hand, altar top. So he's got a Journey to Nowhere in play. But now that he knows I've got the Sage, he's not going to play the Grafted War Gear. Unfortunately for me, so I won't get my sweet blowout. Lingering Souls. Yeah, dudes. Dudes all day. Come on, tokens ready. Go. He's wondering if he wants to end a turn, pop the Corsair. I highly recommend it, Keech. He's gotta die. Kill that shit. Flick, 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 flick. Do it. Anyway, while Keech is tanking, let's talk about the GP. It was an awesome weekend. I think I might write a tournament report if I find the time. Yeah, pops the Corsair. Maitland Cameron ended up coming second. If I killed day one. I opened like bombs. I opened Double Dragon and just rode my pool all the way to like 8-1, and I should have won the last round, but I used a kill shot on a unyielding Krumar rather than a suspension field, and the rest of these guys were just too power, and I couldn't kill him with my suspension field, and he ended up killing me. Stuff this. Forget about the GP. The game keeps distracting me. I'll put it all in the tournament report and release that way. So Keech plays the fetch land, bashes in, threatening to make the figure a 4/4, which, judging by his hand, he's going to do regardless. I'm trying to double block to out-tempo him. I'm thinking about it. He's got 2 cards in hand. I mean, the fact that he's not running his hand out... No, he's spent all his mana. So I can't tell if double blocking is going to force him to pump and therefore keep whatever is in his hand, and then I can use the rest of my spells and tempo him out. We'll see. Alright, so he wants to get Taiga here. Or Savannah, I suppose. Double... I don't think he's got any double red in his deck. He's playing Taiga anyway. Okay. Sure, I say. Figure was a like an awkwardly designed card in that regard, because you need to like somehow indicate what level he's on, but it's not strictly 1/1 counters. It's a classic, and it will never be reprinted for that reason. Although, what's his face? Warden of the First Tree just got printed, and that's got the same deal. So a bit weird there. All right, so Keech knew I was going to get back my Smiter, and he can trade with the Figure of Destiny, which I'm pretty rapt about. And in the meantime, I can bash in with my Mana Dorks or my Manland. So I chose not to flash back the Lingering Souls. I must have forgot that I have it in my graveyard. There's no reason for me not to flash back there. It's way better to flash back than to bash with the Treetop. Yeah, whatever. Alright. Goyf. Solid. I can shrink it by flashing back the Lingering Souls. He probably actually reminded me that I had the souls in my graveyard by playing the Goyf, which is kind of funny. These league matches are often like after work or at awkward times, and you're never in your peak condition when you play, and just mistakes all around. And like this is round 1 of the league. It's not like either of us have played our deck much, so mistakes here and there are gonna happen. Still Shaper's Gift. That's a nice one. I've got 7 mana to sink. It's all going into that clamp that I'm gonna find. And my other card is a Siege Rhino, it looks like. Primo Rhino. Give him the clamps. You know it. Keech just pumping the fist. He finally gets to spend his Ancient Grudge that's been sitting in his hand the whole game. That's what I'm talking about with, dedicated artifact or enchantment kill. It's quite narrow. I mean, it can just sit in your hand for 6 turns and do nothing. So, yeah, I say it a lot in my Highlander coverage, but if you're going to play some artifact or enchantment kill, we'll make sure it does something else other than just that. Yeah, kills it in response to the equip. Aww. And I can bash, depending on how big Goyf is. I'm not sure how big Goyf is. Surely it's bigger than a 2/3. Yeah, so I can't bash him with my Treetop. I'm just going to keep my Smiter back to trade with Figure if he chooses to attack in. And he can't really bash with Goyf for fear of me racing him back. Still hold on to that War Gear. I think at this point he must be going, man, I gotta board this out next game. Can't know how much damage I can attack him back for, which probably means he's getting lowish life, or yeah. Yeah, so I apologise in general for being late with these videos. Oh, I mean, I owe you no apology, but it just sucks that I didn't bring them out steadily, you know what I mean? I'm going to try and rush to get them out, and it's going to be inconsistent, but better late than never, I suppose. What's he got? War Gear. Decides to play it. Committed. I hope he gets punished. Man, Carl, if you're watching this, just grafted War Gear, man. It's... I don't know. I just don't know. A Gentleman's Rearrange. What's the hold up? Ancient Grudge. I'm not sure if he had Plateau open before. Just chump the rest with the Reclamation Sage. Who I quite like, by the way. He's still a 2-1 against Kurgan at worst. Alright. What I got? Oh, it's a side Pride Mage. Apologies. So I thought it was a Siege Rhino, but no, it's Pride Mage. And the blowout is all mine. That's sweet. So here I'm probably going to bash with 2 tokens. Or 1 token with the Exalted Trigger. Which, so I'm probably going to play the Pride Mage. Declare attacks. You'll be like, sure, I'll bash with 1 spirit, and then that's it. That's all that's going to happen. Oh no, I could snuff out the Goyf. Okay, I'm going to snuff out the Goyf, bash with all my ground guys, my 2 spirits, and yeah, my Hierarch and my lands are going to be spent on the Pride Mage. And my birds. Oh, I haven't got a swamp. Okay, so I'm paying 4 mana for my snuff out. Yeah, I guess back in turn 1 when I fetched that basic forest, I didn't get a swamp, did I? Why am I wearing hat inside? Just to cover the camera when I lean forward. Prider Major. He's on like the Great Wall of China or something. What are you thinking about? There's nothing to think about. Just kill the Goyf. Ah, okay, so I haven't got enough mana to cure the Grafted War Gear and play Snuff out. Alright, I apologise to my previous self. You're not that bad. Alright, while we're in this tanking period, I mean, like, there's no actual Highlander tournaments coming up, really. Like, there's leagues, and that's it. But you know what I mean? Like, they don't feel like actual tournaments. Like, I don't get that tournament excitement and feel and buzz from leagues. In a sense, they're quite hollow. I mean, it's something to tide you over in the meantime. It's a little bit like cricket waiting for the football season or the soccer season or what have you. It's not quite right. And that's the way I feel. I mean, other people might love leagues. I mean, I still play it because it's Highlander and I like Highlander. I've got the reminder dice on the Goyf. That's another one that's like Figure of Destiny, you know. A lot of people like to do that, but it's not actually correct. And I know you get some OCD judges who might even penalise you for it. That's not a thing. What am I saying? I guess it's my OCD that doesn't like it. And Goyf's parent toughness tends to change enough that the dice can be misleading a lot of the time. That's how I feel. Jesus, this is slow. That's another downside of the leagues. Here I am, just like, I'm making Highlander videos of my league matches to promote the league and promote Highlander, but I'm slagging off on the league. Like, not having a judge there telling you to speed up leads to these long league matches, and it's quite frustrating, and doesn't make for good viewing. Yeah. So, myself included, everyone needs to play quick for the entertainment of viewers, I guess. Keech is holding a couple dudes. They're quite small though. Can't push through that smiter. And in the meantime, Lingering Souls is just gonna get there. Evasion is sweet, I'm just saying. Like, A lot of people overlook it. Plays out the dudes, ships the turn. So it's just a matter of top decking and me ticking his life total down with the flyers. Planes. Snuff out. Get out of here. Am I going to bash him with a smiter? Maybe just the treetop. Treetop by itself, it's 4 damage, as opposed to 2 damage by attacking into flyers. I'm not going to bash with the smiter because I want to block with it. Would he double block? He loses just the Curd Ape effectively. Yeah. Oh, that's a close one. I'd like to know the life totals, and I can make a bit better analysis of what I'm going to do. I'm guessing it's going to be just the treetop. That Data Lano Elves is... It's quite ugly, but... I don't know, I've got this thing where I want to play the oldest print I can. I'm saying that, but I've got a white-bordered Savannah sitting there, but black-bordered jewels are just ridiculous. Like... Also like the white border because you can find it easier when you're shuffling, you know what I mean? Okay, treetop by itself. Anyway, that Lanorels, I actually traded a beta channel for that. And I just like channel's a more powerful card, obviously, but Lanorels is much more heavily played. I traded it with Paddy Robertson actually. And I mean in a deck where you're playing channel, you're probably tutoring for it, in which case you actually want the white border, funnily enough. So, whatever. Keech, surely you block, mate. Come on. Just put him in front. Let's move on with our lives. So, where's Highlander at right now? Zoo is definitely the most popular deck in the Melbourne Highlander League. I went through and counted the deck archetypes from the latest deck lists from rounds 3 and 4 of this tournament. A reminder that you're watching round 1 currently. And Zoo was 6 decks out of 30 or so. So a fifth, 20% of the field. So if you're looking to make a new deck for the next round of Highlander in the league, I'd suggest making sure that you've got game against Zoo. And then you've just got every conceivable 3-color combination is all playable. Generally you want white or blue in that, so you have access to either equipment or Ancestral Recall. It seems the way that the format has and always has been, or is and always has been. It's like A-Call control versus green-white equipment decks with a splash, because the fetch lands let you play a 3rd color for free. And then you've got the rest, which is combo. And combo's sweet, I love combo, but damn, you just gotta invest so heavily in getting it to be playable. I mean, the rewards are there, but historically, anytime a combo deck does well, bam, points hammer, and it just gets pummeled down to, tier 3 or whatever. It happened to Storm, it happened to Workshop, it happened to Hermit Druid. I'm on the committee now, and so I haven't seen a combo deck rise to strength since I've been on. That'll be interesting. The game's progressed quite a lot since we last saw it. Okay, so I took the game. By my board state 5 turns ago, I had a clear advantage, so just carried on through and eventually got there.